Toga too. You know I had to drop a trap with my boy.
Hey, Blake, where you at?
Yeah, I've been here harassing boys out here telling favors. I'm the hardest young nigga, I ain't signed to no label. Hey, Bruce Gas putting them fights on the table. Calling that Boston since Kane versus Abel. Smoking so much gas, you would think that shit was fatal. I'm the people's champion like Muhammad Ali. Shout out Bruce Gas, one day we gon' meet. Yeah, we gon' blow it down, we gon' smoke hella weed. Yeah, we gon' blow it down, take a hit out the Toga too. Slipping hella shots, feel like Tyson with the people. Little Glock by my side, but it hit just like Isaac Cruz. Shout out Man Chad, real shit, that's my fucking dude. We always cooking on the panel. Strapped to my side, I ain't talking about no sandals. Bruce passed me the blunt, I'ma light it like a candle. Ayy, non-stop bars, man, I always spit flames. Feel like Bruce Gas always got a different strain. Bitch, you ain't like me, you can never feel my pain. You win and you lose, well, this a fight game. Don't beef on the net and the shit won't change. Said that on the stream, gotta do it for the game. Said that on the stream, gotta do it for the chat. I ain't undisputed, yeah, hold on, I ain't undisputed, but I want all the straps.
Good afternoon. Bruce Gas, boxing, jazz, and more. Should I get that? We don't want that too loud in the background here. And this is a review of a movie I saw today. I saw a really, really cool movie. Big George Foreman. I've been waiting for this movie to come out. I don't go to a movie theater. I've been waiting for it to come out on one of these free movie sites. It came out on Yes Movies. Real easy site to find, www.yesmovies.ag. And just type in George Foreman and you'll be able to watch this movie. And I'm very pleased with it. You know, historically, the order of events was kind of the way I expected them to happen. It was something where I read a review on it. And the reviewer said, "Oh, it was too fast going back and forth, and you couldn't relate to any of the situations, couldn't get to know the characters." But you know, for me, it was like a documentary. Knew the characters, knew the fighters, knew the scenes. It was real cool, man. It was 2 hours, went by real fast. Blasting on the Green Dragon, which I'm going to do a shot of right now, so I'm going to have to shut my mouth for 30 seconds. Maybe we can get 1 or 2 more people to come in here. Bear with me for 30 seconds. Gotta fill that dropper up a little bit here. And I gotta give that 30 seconds under the tongue to sublingually get into my blood system. Nordic Warrior, appreciate you stopping in here, bro. Mrs. Just Do, thank you, sister. My man Skywalker, peace to you, my brother. And Jose Diaz, thank you guys for coming in here, man. Like I said, this movie, it was just a great movie to me, man. You know, knowing George Foreman, living through his career, watching it. I think I sent it to you, Skywalker, man. It's I caught it around noontime today, and I spent 2 hours just digging on it. And it's funny because it was, you get these movies now. It was released Thursday, and when you get them when they come on one of the streaming sites, there's so many of them out there. I've been using these streaming sites since before I was on YouTube to watch the movies. I mean, I must have I've given most of them away. I used to record them, burn them onto CDs, and I probably have, oh shit, man, 300-400 movies that I just gave up on. What's this? Your tongue is green. Yeah, I know that. I just did my fucking green tincture. Of course it's green. My wife is telling me my tongue is green, and it's like, yeah, man. And it's going to get even greener. I'm going to do another blast right now. Get my head in the right frame of mind here. A 30-second lull in there to get that fine taste of this green dragon tincture that I make up now. Fuck smoking, man. Go with the green dragon. My lungs have never felt better. No congestion. I mean, it's definitely the much more healthy. I tested out. I have the TK check, the THC potency tester. I tested this batch out yesterday, 44 milligrams per milliliter. And that's pretty strong. If you ever do edibles and you do a 44 milligram edible, you're going to catch a buzz. Me, I have a very high tolerance. William Old School, salute my brother. I have a high tolerance for weed. I don't really get stoned. I just get feeling good. I just get where I can tolerate anything that life throws at me. And finding Big George Foreman today, man, that was truly a treat. That was truly a treat. Big George Foreman, the miraculous story of the once and future heavyweight champion of the world, or simply Big George Foreman. It starts off in the Fifth Ward. It shows George Foreman in poverty. It shows that little story we heard about his mother bringing home a hamburger and she had to cut it into 5 pieces because he had 5 brothers. And you know, and it goes on from there. It shows George getting his balls busted in school. They call him Poor Man, George Poor Man. He didn't like that, man. You know, George got right in the dude's face. And one thing George was always in his life was a powerful kid. Powerful, had that devastating power in either hand. But anyway, man, he was mugging people on the streets. Same with me, Jose. I just feel normal, bro. You know, better than normal. Normal, I'm kind of a grouchy bastard, irritating, self-centered. When I smoke the weed, nothing in life bothers me. I put on my earbuds, I put some tunes in, I go for walks, and I just have a smile on my face. You know, nothing's bothering me. Hey, Big A, salute, bro. Peace. Thank you for coming in here, man. But anyway, man, you know, it was like a historical account of George. It went through it kind of went through his whole life. You know, went through the Fifth Ward, and it went in when George begged his mother to let him in the Jobs Corps. He saw the Jobs Corps promotions on television. I like Beavis and Butthead too, bro. I laughed like a bastard when I used to. I haven't seen him in years, man. But I used to dig Beavis and Butthead. But yeah, and it shows him with his early managers, Dick Sadler and Archie Moore, and there's this other dude, man. His name is Doc Brodus, and that was George's original trainer from the Job Corps. He was going to throw him out of the Job Corps because George was getting in fights, and he told him, man, you know, I'm going to teach you how to. You want to be a boxer? And George is like, yeah, I want to fight. He goes, no, this isn't fighting. This is a sport. This is boxing. And you know, George dedicated himself. His first year as an amateur boxer, he qualified for the U.S. Olympic team. Nobody thought he was going to go very far. He ended up winning a gold medal. He beat the great. What was the dude's name? I have to look it up. I can't remember the guy's name right anymore. Okay. Jonas Sapalis, a Russian. Didn't think George had any chance of beating him. George went in there and beat him. That's when he had the flags, the American flag in 1968. That's when the other two cats, man, Thomas. I can't. I'm so bad with names. I should write things down, do more cheating. But that was the year where they raised their fist. They raised their fists at the Olympics on the pedestal. And George, he waved that American flag. And my old arch enemy, Bruce Gas. I shall defeat you. Bruce Propane. That's got to be Pigeon. Pigeon, you crazy old bastard, you. Or it could be, I got a Bruce Oil out there. I got a Bruce Gas takes it up the ass. There's so many, I got a lot of trolls out there that come after me, but I appreciate all you cats coming in here, man. I appreciate the views in here. But yeah, then after winning that gold medal, George went back to Houston, and he didn't get the popularity that he wanted to have, and he turned pro. In his early pro years, man, George wanted to be the heavyweight champion of the world. He went undefeated, got his chance with Joe Frazier. And Joe Frazier is played in this movie by none other than Carlos Takam. So he was about the only one I recognized in the movie. Forrest Tucker, who I know, man. Forrest Tucker is a great actor. Forrest Whitaker, I'm sorry. Forrest Tucker, that's from F Troop. I read things and I say other things, man. I'll tell you, I got this dyslexia up here. It's a good thing I smoke weed because I can use that as an excuse. But yeah, man, George turned pro, and it showed him. It kind of went fast forwarded kind of quickly. Showed him in Kingston, Jamaica, knocking out Joe Frazier, and then coming back and going to Zaire, Africa, and fighting Ali in the Rumble in the Jungle. I mean, it was real cool, especially living those fights and then watching them again on here. And then it showed him getting beat by Ali. Ali had the guy who played Ali. His name was Sullivan Jones. I never heard of any of these actors before. Chris Davis as George Foreman. Jasmine Matthews as Mary Joan Foreman. John Magro. That was his. He played a cat named Desmond, and that was his. He met this guy when he was in the Job Corps. It was his bunkmate. And the guy was quick with the bucks, but he was into the booze too. George saw him. George always caught him drinking. And when George won the title in Jamaica, this dude was there, and he said, Desmond, I want you handling my money. And Desmond, man, he kind of spent it all. He invested bad investments, and George went back, and after George got beat by Ali, they showed the fucking exhibition with the 5 boxes in Toronto. It was just the anniversary of that a few days ago. I put it in my community page, the Toronto 5, and and then they showed the Jimmy Young fight. That's the fight that the movie kind of started with that, but then it regressed. It digressed in time to the beginning. But that Jimmy Young fight, that's when George Foreman died. He said he went to heaven. He talked to Jesus. He was born again after that fight, and it was, it was so sincere because religion played a lot in this movie. And earlier in the movie, George didn't want to take part in saying grace. His mother was real religious, super religious. His whole family, they'd get together and hold hands and pray. And George was like, I put the food on this table, not God. And until that, and he had that Jimmy Young fight, and he had the epiphany. And bang, George said he went to heaven. He met Jesus Christ. And Jesus said, George, I have a mission for you, more important than boxing. And George was, he was baptized. He started a ministry. And then he also started the George Foreman Youth Center, where he had a basketball court. He had a boxing ring set up. And he was helping the kids of the Fifth Ward, man. He didn't want them to go down the street. He went down mugging people, getting arrested, getting beat up by cops, and so what happened was all of a sudden, you know, the electricity goes off. The bills aren't getting paid. Desmond didn't pay the bills. Hey, Shadow 9, how you doing, my brother? Salute to you, man. So George is kind of facing bankruptcy. He goes to the bank. He's like, what's going on? You know, can you transfer some of my money from the other funds? The banker tells him, George, you're out of money, bro. You ain't got no more money. Teach. Salute, my brother. So anyway, man, you know, George was determined to raise money by any means he could. He tried pretty much everything he had, fundraising. I don't know who Bruce. That's probably Pigeon. Pigeon's a cool guy. I like Pigeon. You know, Pigeon's harmless out there. He may rankle some feathers, but who doesn't on the internet, man? Who doesn't on the internet? Make sure you're drinking a lot of water. Blood Boxing Fistiana. They sent me this tumbler, 20 ounces. I fill it several times a day. I love water, man. This is ice cold Culligan bottled water. Just tastes so good. Just tastes so good. But yeah, man, you know, George, he came to the realization that put those gloves back on, get back in the ring, and George is about 335 pounds. So he goes to his old trainer, Doc Brodus, and Doc says, you get down to 265 and come back and see me. Josh Eternal, salute, man. Thank you for coming by. Teach. I try to drink a gallon a day too. I don't always every day, but some days I do. Some days even a little more. Like you know, when you're those hot summer days. But water's the only thing I drink. I don't drink coffee. I don't drink caffeine. I don't drink alcohol. No beer. No wine. I don't drink fruit juices. I don't drink soda. Nothing but water. I have protein powder and yogurt in a glass of water in the morning. Make a little smoothie. But water, man, water is key. Water is so good for you. Believe me, drink. Teacher's got the right idea. A gallon a day, man. Keep hydrated. Keep those organs hydrated. The worst thing you can get is internal dehydration, man. You know, it'll kill you. That's why, you know, people who drink a lot of coffee, they have to drink a lot of water because coffee's a diuretic. And there you go, William Old School. You got, you know, you cats are getting it, man. You cats are getting it. Maybe you live to be an old grumpy old man like I am. You just keep drinking that water. Tea's cool, but I just don't do caffeine, man. I'm kind of my only mind-altering substance that I allow in my body is my green dragon tincture and the weed. I'll smoke weed once in a while too, but even my buddy Coach Malachi, he's back on the weed too, man. Good for him. He was a much better person because of it today. He was kind of a drag for the last few days. He was coming off the weed, real bitchy, and I know how that is, man. I ain't gonna come off the weed anymore. But anyway, man, you know, George got back in the ring. It showed his first fight, and I remember that first fight. You know, my fucking mind is so fucking bad. I can't think of the dude's name. I'll think of it in a second as we go along, because I remember that fight. I remember sitting in a bar watching it. And it was a tough time for me. I just lost a job. I got caught shooting up at work. MZ. How you doing, my brother? Peace to you, man. Zowski. Just do. Salute, my brother. Steve Zowski was the guy's name. And you know, see, it's in the mind. It just takes a little bit for it to come to the mouth. But it's there, man. Anyway, that first fight with Steve Zowski, people are asking me, because they know I'm the boxing man. They say, this is an old fight. This isn't George Foreman, because this is 10 years after he retired. You got to remember, George Foreman's out of boxing for 10 years, man, 10 years. And he comes back, and the movie Duplicit Nice, man, beats Steve Zowski in his comeback fight, and he just goes on. And people are making fun of George. They're saying, hey, what's your requirements for the fighters you fight? And George says, well, I get them in gas stations, bowling alleys, and bars. And they're like, these guys are on respirators. George says, oh, no. They're going to be off a respirator for 5 days before I fight them. I mean, it was true George. It was on Johnny Carson and oh shit, man, was it David Letterman? But anyway, man, the comeback of George Foreman, Duplicit, it was really, really cool the way they played it out in the movie, and they showed him when he had that fight with Evander Holyfield when he lost his first title fight, and he went to the bank to check out his money, because George is used to being broke for the past few years, man. He's used to living hand to mouth. He went to the bank, and he saw that the guy gave him his receipt. He had $10 million in the bank, and the guy says, and plus you got a heck of a bunch of royalties coming in from that grill that you've been endorsing. And his wife has got a big smile on her face, and George says, we still got work to do. I love that, man. He says, we still have work to do here. And his wife had a vision where she spoke to God, and God said, George is going to win the title. So anyway, this leads back into his after the Evander Holyfield fight, man. And George had nothing to be ashamed of in that fight. He almost knocked Evander Holyfield out. Evander Holyfield went back to his corner and said, I think my teeth are knocked out. And it was just because George hit so hard, that thudding, debilitating, boom, boom, boom. But anyway, they showed him fight. They showed him in the Michael Moorer fight. And he's having visions of the Rumble in the Jungle. He's having visions of the Jimmy Young fight. And he was getting beat by Michael Moorer. And he landed this punch. He said he was setting Moorer up the whole time for the right hand. And he landed it. Michael Moorer went down. He looked at it was almost like Ryan Garcia the other night, man, just looking at the referee go through his count. But Moorer was stunned. He was looking into the lights. He was looking into the lights, and he wasn't seeing anything. But it just showed, man. It just showed the determination. And this is all how George Foreman became whole again. He reestablished himself financially. He sold the George Foreman grill eventually. He got $138 million for selling the rights to the George Foreman grill. That's just selling your name to be stamped on a product. $138 million. And so, George did all right for himself. And this movie, I would definitely advise checking this out, man. It was a great way to spend 2 hours, man, and especially if you knew what was going on. Because I'm thinking about it now, about some of the reviews where they say a lot of it was, if you didn't know what was going on, you'd have a tough time. Putting it all together. Fortunately, I knew what was going on, so I had no problem putting it all together. Yeah, William O. School. Go to this site. It's called Yes Movies. I think if you Google it, it'll probably take you there. And then just type in George Foreman once you get into Yes Movies, and you're there. You have to take if you have a what do they call them? A VPN. You have to take that off to get into the site, because for some reason they say you're not admitted. You can't get into the site. But once you take that VPN down, and you can put it up, and once you're in there, and you can catch this movie for free. Very good movie. I definitely would advise checking this one out, man. Some people like to go to theaters. My friend Skywalker is telling me he goes to this theater where they have a brew pub in there. They have food in there. Cool. I saw it on my 60-incher with my Green Dragon. It was a great time. Hey, Mark, how you doing, brother? I'm glad you cats liked it, because I did too, man. I thought it was well worth it. Definitely, I'll definitely watch it again now that it's on. See, when they put it on the Yes Movies, that's the first site I've seen it on, and they'll get better. They'll eventually have a legit copy. This was taken by some cat on a real good iPhone. What usually happens is the movie usually comes out okay, but the sound sucks. Like in Creed, you had to wait about a week or so for them to get the real HD version. But this one here is not too bad. The volume is cool, and the picture is definitely doable. And for with me, if I went to see that movie, I'd have to drive up to Providence, which is 20 minutes anyway, and then pay to park. Then I don't know what it costs to go to a movie these days. It's got to be $10, right? And that's and that pretty much takes up the whole day. This way, I just caught it 2 hours. It was done. It was great. I just wanted to come on here and tell you cats about it. Make sure you see it, man. I definitely would give it a thumbs up. Siskel and Ebert, I used to watch them when I was kids, and they would always rate the movies, review the movies. This one I'm reviewing for you, man. If you're a fan of boxing, you'll dig it, man. Check it out. Big George Foreman, the miraculous story of the once and future heavyweight champion of the world. It's in theaters everywhere, and it's also available on Yes Movies. So leave a little comment below if you've seen it. Make sure you give me a thumbs up. I appreciate you for coming in here, man. Bruce Gas, boxing, jazz, and more. Salute to the stoners. Peace.